So what are some common misconceptions?
Well, again, I like to use illustrations to show how you can really enhance what's going on. I have a client that's a medical device manufacturer, and one thing about an employer like that is that they have a lot of very well-educated people. They're all PhDs or a few masters, but it's mostly PhDs that they have working for them. But my client had a 40% turnover, which was costing them millions of dollars every single year. They would have people, what people figured out is if they stayed at their desk, they'd get a 1% or a 2% raise. If they switched companies, they'll get a $30,000 raise. So they were jumping companies and then coming back. And this was costing my client a lot of money. So what I suggest is I said, just take your basic plan design that you have right now. And one of the things that they had in that plan design was a discretionary matching contribution. And I recommended that they make a discretionary contribution that was equal to 100% of what people were putting in the plan. And they thought, oh my goodness, that's going to be expensive. But what we did was we made it so that if someone left within a year or 2 years of that contribution, they would forfeit the entire benefit that was the matching benefit that was put into the plan. They went from 40% turnover to 1% turnover in a year. And it was just showing you an example of how a business purpose, you can amend your plans or create or operate your plans in a way that best teach people how to behave. And the behavior here is they didn't want people jumping ship, and it was very, very clear. And like I said, most educated employees really understand how and when they get paid, and they really pay attention to that. So they're not going to leave and forfeit that very valuable match that they got. And that's really one of the most important things to learn about 401k plans. I think the biggest problem with most of them is education. The employees don't really understand how they work and what benefits they get out of it. And a lot of times companies don't always educate, their people very well. And many times that's part of the package that they purchase when they hire someone to do the plan.
So let me ask you a question, because, let's assume you give me, I get a letter of employment and you're there to explain to me the different benefits, and you're there to explain the 401k, because like you said, a lot of us don't understand what is that supposed to do? So how would you explain that to an employee?
Well, it's really about educating them about what works and what doesn't work. I mean, one of the worst models that people have is they take away this, I'm going to play the market with my retirement benefits, where they get to buy this and sell this, and they can buy virtually whatever they want. But it's really a dumb way to go. I mean, most financial advisors that are giving people advice, what you do is you decide where you are, how many kids you have, what your situation is, what your retirement planning is, and everything else, marriage, single, whatever it is. And then you ultimately make a decision. This is what I think today. This is where I think I should invest my funds. And what you should do at that point is just lock it in and don't change it until your life changes. If you get married and you have kids, well, obviously you need to change that and react to that. You might want to save more. You might want to do it in a more, in a quicker manner, or in a manner that doesn't attack your ability to pay for your kids, diapers. So it's really a question of what's the best way to use these things, because they're not playing the market. They're really a slow and steady saving method that really is the best tax shelter you can possibly do, because the money you put in there is not taxed. The growth on that money is not taxed. And ultimately, it isn't taxed until you pull the money out of the plan when you're retired and you're in a lower tax bracket. So it's really about understanding the system and working the system depending on your personal situation.